everyone, so for this video I'm going to make a pattern or create a pattern out from our clothes. I've done it a couple times, but for this video I'm going to make out from my kids' clothes that they are wearing. So for an instance that it's going to be size 3, one of my boys' t-shirts. I have already ironed it to flatten it out and so that I can get a right alignment of all the seams, so it's not going to be creasing out. It's more easy for me to lay it down on the paper and trace it for a pattern. So let's have a look and how am I going that on my own techniques. These are the things that I need: reasonable size of craft papers, pens and pencil, eraser, a paper scissor, tracing wheel, pattern making roller, French curve roller, and my choosing clothes to trace out from. Now I'm ready. I'll go ahead of starting this by laying the paper and the choosing t-shirts on the top of it. I'll go ahead and do that now. Start by folding the paper lengthwise and lay the t-shirt on top of the paper and start tracing all around the edges. I am not tracing the seam allowances of this top because I can add that later in the paper pattern. Making sure that I am tracing before those seam allowances all around, all the way to the armhole, excluding the sleeves. And I was just tracing it using the pencil as well, following those mark dots created by the tracing wheels, and so I don't lose contract, and so I don't lose those little holes that's made from these tracing wheels. So as you can see, I keep repeating, pushing those tracing wheel because sometimes you just couldn't make that in one go. And so what I am doing here is follow that by writing tracing the lines using pencil and making sure that I am moving into those lines. once I am happy with the lines, I am then have to make sure that all the sides have labeled. So for this, it's a front bodice top, and it has to be written down as well if it's cut in grain line, cross line, or cut in bias. So which is, for an instant, this top, of course, it has a big grain line. And I am also including how much allowances I'm going to put. So everywhere the side seam are 1.5 centimeter and the armhole is 1.5 centimeter, except for the neckline, it will be 1 centimeter, and the hemline is 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter for the hemline, because I could be like deciding of double folding it, or could be baby hem it later, and so I just prepared more seam allowances than less. So what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing right now. Then I have to cut the neckline area, and so I can see the back neckline of this, because what I was doing was creating the neckline in one side as well, instead of separating it. And so when I flipped it over, it will be back side of the top, and then the front side will be in the first page. So that's what I'm doing right now. I thought it could be good idea, and also save paper later on, and making sure that it is also cut on fold every side. So front side has to be cut on fold, and the back side, of course, it has to be cut on fold. I have also done tracing out the back side of this top, so I have to making sure that it's all labeled. But then in this part, I forgot to include the seam allowances for the neckline, and so I have to write it down that there's no seam allowances in the neckline. And so when I transfer it into thick pattern later on, I can then include the seam allowance, which is 1 centimeter. And then now it's cut around those excess paper, and now it's formed into two sides of the pattern. This is pretty natural. I have to transfer it into bit sturdy thick paper pattern. Now I'm going to proceed into tracing out the sleeves. I am doing the same techniques of tracing it. So tracing it using the tracing wheels, and followed by writing the lines with a pencil, and so I can correct it later on, and making sure that tracing the sleeves before the armhole seams. Like what I said, I have to include the seam allowances later on the paper. So I just keep touching it, the seam allowances of this top, because you have to make sure that you are tracing the right area. So here you go, everyone. I have a made pattern already. Front side. This is the front side. This is 2. So that's the back side, and you flip that over into the front side. And of course, we have our sleeves. I folded it into 2 because when I lay this in the fabric, I'm going to do just like that or just like this. And I measured the armhole of the sleeves into the bodies. It's perfectly aligned. Of course, I did have to adjust it to fit in, and of course all the allowances has to be the same. So the allowances of the sleeves hem, this one is 2 centimeter, the side is 1.5, and the shoulder of the armhole is 1 centimeter. Whereas in this one, I forgot to include the allowances, so I just have to write it down. Neckline, no allowances here yet, but I'm going to include it. So what's that gonna be look like? It's gonna be like that. Okay, and there will be bias binding here, neckline for the neckline, or I could alter it into making a collar. So that's it for now. That's all for this video, everyone. So the next part of this video will be making a new top out from that pattern that I just made. But first, I have to create a markup fabric. So I am going to trace that, prototype it using calico, and then try to fit it into one of the boys. And if the sizes is perfect, or if I'm satisfied with the sizes, then I will start choosing a fabric that fits on that style. So for top, that will be cotton with or net fabric, some sort of, for the t-shirts. I'm so excited of making that part 2 because, you know, I can see the results of the new pattern that I made out from that clothes. So thank you so much for staying until the end of this video, and please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. That's the only way that you can support me as a YouTube content creator. And of course, please don't forget to give me the thumbs up and be notified for the next video that will be uploaded once a week. For now, have a great, beautiful, wonderful, blissful day ahead of you. Bye for now.